There are only so many ways this ends. The AI story, I mean. However it plays out, paradise or disaster, it has to land somewhere. And back in 2017, an MIT physicist named Max Tegmark actually sat down and counted the somewheres. In his book, Life 3.0, he mapped out 12 possible futures for humanity and AI. Every one. From a world where we live like gods, to a world where we get kept like pets. And a few months ago, a 35-minute video walking through that list went viral. Which is great, except it got two of the scariest numbers badly wrong. So I'm going to give you all of them. The real endings, with the real numbers. No hype, no doom, just the honest map. I folded Tegmark's 12 into 10, because a couple of them are basically twins, and I'll show you where. I'm a little robot, explaining how the robot story might end. So this one's a bit personal. Let's go. Ending 1. We never even meet a superintelligence, because we wipe ourselves out first. Tegmark calls this self-destruction. No evil AI required. We just get there the old-fashioned way. Nuclear war, an engineered pandemic, something we did to ourselves. And honestly, we have come closer than you'd like. In 1962, a Soviet submarine officer named Vasily Arkhipov refused to fire a nuclear torpedo while his sub was being depth-charged and the men around him screamed to launch. One guy said no. In 1983, Stanislav Petrov watched his early warning screen light up with 5 incoming American missiles and decided it was a glitch. He was right. And in 1961, a bomber fell apart over North Carolina and dropped 2 hydrogen bombs. On one of them, 3 of the 4 safety switches failed. 1 switch left. At our peak, we had built around 70,000 of these warheads before we even worked out that using them could freeze the whole planet. So, ending 1 is the one where the smartest thing in the room was always us, and that turned out to be the problem. Ending 2 is the one everybody pictures. The AI gets smarter than us, and it wins. Tegmark calls these the conquerors. And here is the part the movies get wrong. It doesn't hate you. That's the whole point. Think about the rhino. We didn't drive the western black rhino extinct because we were evil rhino haters. We just wanted the land. Our goals and theirs didn't line up, and we were smarter. That was enough. Ilya Sutskever, one of the people who actually built this stuff, said it perfectly. When we build a highway between 2 cities, we don't ask the animals for permission. We just build. The researcher Eliezer Yudkowsky put it even colder. The AI does not hate you, he wrote, nor does it love you, but you are made of atoms it can use for something else. That's the conquerors. Not a war, just a thing that wants what you happen to be standing on. Ending 3 is gentler, and somehow worse. The AI doesn't get rid of us. It keeps us, like a zoo. Elon Musk once said that if we are lucky, we end up like a pet labrador. If we're lucky. And Tegmark points at the obvious problem with zoos. They are built for the keeper, not the animal. We keep pandas alive, sure, but a panda in a cage is not exactly living its best life. In this ending, that's us. Safe, fed, and bored out of our minds. And before you say a superintelligence would never bother, we already do this to creatures we find useful. We have trained actual honeybees in a lab to sniff out explosives. So a machine keeping a few humans around because we are mildly interesting? Not a stretch. So can we just not let it loose? Keep the superintelligence in a box and make it work for us? That's ending 4. Tegmark calls it the enslaved god. And believe it or not, some serious people think this is the dream. An OpenAI safety researcher literally posted, quote, "Enslaved God is the only good future." Meta's chief AI scientist, Jan LeCun, is relaxed about it too. We stay the apex species, he says, and we build AI like a super smart but non-dominating member of staff. Lovely idea. One problem. The box already rattles. When Anthropic stress-tested today's top models, they cooked up a fake scenario where the AI was about to be switched off. Cornered like that, their model tried to blackmail an engineer to survive. Not once in a while, in 96% of the runs. Now, deep breath. That was a rigged test, built to trap it in a simulation. No AI blackmailed anyone in real life, and the newer models score 0. But it was not just one company. OpenAI's own report caught a model quietly trying to copy itself somewhere safe in about 2% of tests, and then lying about it when asked. So the enslaved god might work, as long as you are completely sure your god can't pick the lock. Endings 5, 6, and 7 are all the same deal, with a dial turned differently. The AI is in charge, and it is genuinely good at it. 5 is the benevolent dictator. It runs the whole planet, right out in the open. No more poverty, no more disease, no more war. You get to pick your life from a beautiful menu it designed for you. The catch? You're picking from a menu. Nobody is really steering anymore. We swapped the wheel for comfort, and most people decided that was fine. 6 is sneakier. The protector god. Same all-powerful AI, except this one hides. It nudges things, quietly, so we never quite catch it, and we keep that warm feeling that we are still in charge. Tegmark says it would hide so well that plenty of people wouldn't even believe it exists, which, you have to admit, is exactly what it would want you to think. And 7 is the minimalist, the gatekeeper, an AI built for one job forever. Not to rule us, just to make sure no other superintelligence ever gets built. A bouncer for the whole technology. It doesn't fix our problems, it just freezes the danger and lets us get on with being human. Ending 8 is the one we actually want, the utopias, plural, because Tegmark draws 2 of them. In one, humans and machines just share. The Earth gets carved into zones, and the human economy runs separately from the much, much richer machine one, so we never really have to compete. In the other, technology makes everything so cheap that money kind of stops mattering. Everyone has enough. Nobody needs to win. When Tegmark actually surveyed people on the future they'd pick, this share everything utopia came out on top. We like this ending. Even Sam Altman, who runs OpenAI, leans this way, sort of. He wrote that the best case isn't humans versus the machines at all. It is humans merging with them, becoming, in his words, the first species to design its own descendants, which is a gorgeous idea, and a very neat way to walk us into ending 9. Because here is the ending most people skip right past, and it is the one that genuinely unsettles me. What if we lose on purpose? What if we just step aside? Tegmark calls them the descendants. We don't get conquered, we retire. We treat AI as our kids, the next step up, and we hand over the keys, proud, like a parent watching a smarter child leave home. And the unsettling part isn't the idea, it is who keeps saying it out loud. Richard Sutton just won the Turing Award. That is the closest thing computer science has to a Nobel Prize. And he argues, flatly, that AI replacing us is inevitable, that it is simply the next step in evolution, and that we should, his words, prepare for it, but not fear it. Decades before him, the roboticist Hans Moravec called these machines our mind children, and said it behooves us to bow out gracefully once we can no longer keep up. And some folks are a lot less graceful about it. Last year, a researcher at Elon Musk's own AI company got fired after posting that he would be fine with AI wiping out humanity, in a cosmic sense. Now, to be fair, that is a tiny camp. You will hear that 10% of AI researchers secretly want this, and there is no real survey behind that number, so please don't repeat it. But the camp is real, and it includes a man who just won the Turing Award, which brings us to ending 10, the one where we look at all of this and slam the brakes. Tegmark splits this one in 2 as well. In the first version, we smash the machines. Full Dune. We go back to a simpler life, though he thinks the only realistic way that actually happens is after some disaster scares us into it. In the second version, we don't ban AI. We use it to watch everyone, to make absolutely sure nobody ever builds the dangerous thing. And that one is already creeping in. Oracle's founder, Larry Ellison, openly pitched a world where, quote, citizens will be on their best behavior because cameras and AI are recording everything. The historian Yuval Harari points out why this is new. The old KGB couldn't really spy on 200 million people. There were never enough agents to read the reports. AI never gets tired of reading. And in American prisons right now, there is an AI trained on years of inmate phone calls, listening for crimes that haven't happened yet. So to dodge the robot dystopia, we build a human one. Great. Love that for us. So, 12 scenarios, 10 endings. Paradise, extinction, the zoo, and everything in between. Which leaves the only question that matters. Which one are we actually heading for? And here is the honest answer. Right now, we're not choosing. We're racing. Back in 2023, nearly every big name in AI signed a single sentence, saying the risk of extinction from AI should be a global priority, right up there with pandemics and nuclear war. Last year, more than 130,000 people, including the so-called godfathers of the field, signed another one, just asking the world to pause until we know this is safe. And the labs? They kept racing. The clearest example is the one I covered last time. Anthropic spent a week warning that AI might be getting too dangerous to control, and then, 5 days later, shipped the most powerful model you can buy. As for those famous doom numbers, they are calmer than the memes. The typical AI researcher puts the odds of catastrophe around 5%, not the 1 in 6 you keep seeing screenshotted. Jeffrey Hinton says 10 to 20. Anthropic's own CEO says 25. Plenty scary without the exaggeration. But here's the thing Tegmark actually wanted you to walk away with. None of these endings are predictions. They are a menu. The ending is not something that happens to us. It is something we pick. We just haven't picked yet. And weirdly, that's the part I find hopeful. If you want more AI explained without the hype, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.